2 years ago, I packed my car, old Chevette 84. Drove it till the engine smoked, hitched a ride through San Antone. Got a job tending bar, let a senorita break my heart. I wanna sink my feet into some Illinois clay, walk along the cornfield in the cool of the day, get a dog and chase a rat.
Welcome, everyone. We're embarking on another Common Ground podcast. Pretty exciting, as usual.
Yep.
It's fun because at this point, I don't even know what episode it is. So we've at least done 4, maybe 5, maybe 6.
7, I believe.
7?
7. Yep.
I mean, we're approaching double digits here, bud.
Getting close.
Double digits. I like it. So what do you think we should talk about today? I mean, you want to cover grain markets? You want to cover Farm Progress Show? Do you want to talk about some listings? You want to talk about auction results? You want to talk about farm management since you've received a couple phone calls on that inquiry? Or do you just want to cover all the bases and hit the abbreviated?
I think probably a little bit. We had a great time at the Farm Progress Show. Really productive. Got to meet
Great show.
Tons of nice people.
It amazes me how big that show is, because you and I have been there multiple times. Never have we had a booth and exhibited there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people there, and I've tried to describe it to people who have never been. That, like, even my wife, she's like, "Okay, so you're going to another farm show or something."
Yeah.
I go, "This one's different. It's like it's an entire city or town."
They have street names.
Street names, and it's like, I don't know, 6, 7 blocks, maybe square, maybe larger. But there's a lot of stuff going on there, and so, like, I would highly encourage. I'm sure most anybody who is listening to this has probably either been or familiar. Next year, again, it's back in Boone, Iowa.
Yes.
Which I think is neat. We have not been there to Boone. We've been to Decatur a couple different times now. But
do you want to? No, we probably shouldn't tell the story about our Decatur Airbnb.
Yeah. I mean, you can if you would like.
Let's just say that we had a very unique experience with an Airbnb in Decatur.
Booked for 3 nights, stayed for
40 minutes.
Tops. And that was moving our stuff in and moving our stuff out.
And peeking through the shades.
Yeah.
It was
not the best experience, but we were able to find a, I would say, subpar hotel, just right on the outside of Decatur there. So we survived, and it was.
What doesn't kill you makes you strong.
We had a place to stay. Really enjoyed. Yeah, the farm progress show was awesome.
It's like a farmer's Disneyland without the rides.
There you go. There's probably
everything you want.
I mean, there's tractors there you can hop on.
Yeah, but there's not like roller coasters or like anything like that. I mean,
there should be, maybe.
I think
take the kids to the.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same price gouging. I mean, if you're paying $9 for a bottle of water, or,
Yeah.
But it's Disneyland for farmers. It was a fun show. We were there with a booth. We were representing CommonGround, Ground OS, and CommonGround Insurance Group. And, CommonGround Insurance Group is the newest offshoot that we have to provide value to farmers as an independent Hudson crop insurance agency. But just great response from everybody in the ag community on the CLIP product, the cash release insurance product. Garnered a lot of interest, so it was a great show, well worth our while, and looking forward to the next one.
Well, maybe we'll get a tilt-a-whirl there next year.
You would clean up with a tilt-a-whirl. You would absolutely clean up with a tilt-a-whirl. So
bring the kids. It's cool.
So the most successful exhibitor that I could extrapolate. I never saw the booth, but I think we could both agree there were more walking sticks sold.
Oh my gosh. Like everybody had a walking stick.
And this is flat ground, keep in mind.
And I can't say everybody, but I would say that, it was a 50% of the crowd had walking sticks by the second or third day that were sold there. a nice little leather band on the end. And
But it was like a sanded down 1x with a leather band.
correct.
And these things were selling like
Hotcakes, bud.
hotcakes. And I went outside the tent and looked.
I thought they
you
were
could
giving
see
them
for
away.
40 miles.
They were not giving them away? I thought it was like, give me your email address and you get a walking stick sort of deal. That's how many were around.
I couldn't believe how many damn walking sticks there were, but people were using them as though they were traversing uphill, downhill, or side hill.
Everest.
But everything is flat in Decatur.
Very flat.
So I'm confused at the purpose of said walking stick.
Well, it worked. Whatever. I mean, you should have got one. Use it for mushroom hunt.
Well, maybe this is a call to action for whoever had that booth.
I'd like to meet
For
them.
our next salesperson, like we should interview the guy that sold walking sticks.
He did really well.
Yes. So that was a big takeaway for me was how many walking sticks were needed in Decatur for that weekend. But otherwise, it was a great show. Learned a lot. Met a lot of great people. A lot of good connections. Overall, A+. And the weather was beautiful because
gorgeous.
the week before it was 110 heat index, and you could have been sitting in a tent. It would have been unbearable.
Pretty rough.
You probably couldn't have done it.
No,
But I mean, for the most part, it was mid-70s and sunny and
gorgeous.
Yeah, it was great. Good food, good people, good show. So,
and today's September 22nd. We had a little rain this morning, so the guys haven't been harvesting, but there's corn coming out here in central Illinois. The yields have kind of been across the board from the guys that I've spoke to. Some of the higher quality ground, guys aren't terribly disappointed, 220 to 230 corn, but their typical would be 270 range on that stuff. And so they're not unhappy.
but not a bumper crop across the board by any means. But I talked to a grower the other day that picked up a piece of ground through our site. He said he's probably going to see upper 200s, maybe low 300s. But he was fortunate. He got some pockets of rain that were very isolated.
Sure.
So I think it's kind of a mishmash of what they're doing. But the beans overall, I think everybody's going to be pretty happy with the beans. I mean, the beans are made in August, and
we got some rain in August. But I mean, we'll just have to see how it shakes out. I mean, as of today, 22nd of September, October beans 1234, December beans 1279. So obviously, I think everybody would like to see those over the 13 number. We got corn at 449, December 464, somewhere in that range. So time will tell, I guess, once we start seeing more numbers coming out of the fields. Obviously, this is where the A quality soils, the A ground, high B ground, really, really stands out in these tougher years. I mean, the bleeding could have been substantially worse from what everybody's saying. Considering the amount of rain we actually got this year.
People were freaking out at one point. But
props to some of to these seed companies who have been very intricate in allowing these yields to remain where they are on a year that, could have been almost a complete loss in a lot of cases.
No, it's overall, it's not overwhelming exuberance of like, this has been a great year.
Yeah.
But I think what everybody was expecting, at least here in central Illinois, with what we experienced with a little bit of a drought, people were kind of fearing the worst and like, okay, didn't turn out that bad. It could have been way worse. It could have been way better, but we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be okay. So I think we're in good shape.
No, it's good. It's good. Farm Progress Show is good. I highly, highly encourage anybody who is in the space or even outside the space. It's just a really cool thing to go see. So go to Iowa next year. Spend a day.
Do you think the Airbnbs and
I think we probably would need to book one here quickly.
Probably yesterday.
And so I would highly encourage get a hotel or an Airbnb quickly
very quickly.
Whatever the dates are there next year in Iowa for Farm Progress.
But aside from Farm Progress, we've had a lot of cool stuff going on the CommonGround side, Ground OS side, the CommonGround insurance side. So
we just had a great auction that went through the CommonGround
Mossy Oak,
auction sales
Indiana Land and Lifestyle had a phenomenal auction. They ran through Ground OS.
Brecken Kennedy. Brecken moves a lot of ground over there. Let's see here. Let me pull up. Yeah, I'm really happy. Sellers, good buyer. It sounded like everybody was happy. This farm ended up going for $12,565 an acre.
What was the starting bid on that?
Starting bid was $6,165 an acre.
Nice.
7 unique bidders on that tract. Drove this up to $12,565. NCCPI there of 67. So, I mean, just a nice piece. 65 total, roughly 62 tillable out of that tract. So. Overall, great results. Congrats to Brecken and Mossy Oak on that sale.
And congrats to the landowners.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we like seeing is we've got Ground OS clients and land brokers that have been utilizing the land leasing and the hunting leasing, but now we've kind of utilized our software and technology and allowed them to do for sale auctions.
Yeah.
So it's fun for us to watch and say, wow, like, now we've got another success for our Ground OS clients.
Yeah, it's neat.
It's awesome.
You know, and I think it's one of those things that there's a lot of companies out there right now who are offering auction style platforms, sales platforms for brokers.
Yeah, it's going to get more popular. And just to dovetail into that, didn't Don Wagner with the land guys just put up another Fulton? Well, they put up a Fulton County for sale auction.
Yeah, it's a new one that's coming. So this is one that's going to be coming up from the land guys. Really nice farm. Kind of a river bottom farm. 133 PI, 120 total, 97 tillable. Starting bid 6,000. This is kind of right in my neck of the woods that I spend a lot of time. But
so 133 PI. Mm-hmm. Do you know where that farm is at?
So this farm is just outside the little town of Bernadotte.
Could you find it on the map quick?
Yeah.
Why don't you do a cash rent estimate on it?
Yeah. So if I zoom out here.
Okay, so that's not far from where we're sitting right now.
No, it's not. 10 miles or less.
Yeah, because it's 2.5 and 2.5 into Ipava, and it looks like you're just up off of Route 2 there, not too far.
But a neat farm, nice farm. So keep an eye out. This will be coming.
Well, 133 PI, that should bring just what we've been seeing? 360, 370 or better?
Oh, on rent? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This farm and it produces well. So for an investor, this could be a good opportunity. But obviously an operator, it's got a lot of potential. There's some really strong farmers in that neighborhood.
And how many acres is tillable? 90?
Yeah, there's 90. What do we got here? 97 tillable.
Just call it 100 for round math. And if you can get 350, that's $35K a year in revenue.
Yeah.
6 times 120. 700.
720.
Yeah, 720.
Mm-hmm. I bet this goes somewhere in the
35K. I mean, yeah, that'll be interesting to see where that lands.
Really nice farm, though. It's something definitely for everybody to keep an eye out if anybody's in the market. So Brecken had great results, and the neat thing about utilizing the CommonGround platform for your auction sales is that CommonGround spends a lot of money on marketing on top of the broker's marketing. Because
we can do it at scale.
Correct.
We're marketing tillable listings, we're marketing hunting leases. Like, we've got a marketing bundle set aside.
Correct.
So instead of going to a bid wrangler where it's just you pay for the software and then you market it 100% on you, we're marketing your auction
Very
for
much
you.
So
you're getting the best of both worlds because we can market at scale with everything we do, and it's not just software.
Yep.
And speaking of auctions and Don Wagner just had a phenomenal tillable auction.
He did.
That was Rio. That was Knox County.
Yeah, it was.
I was blown away.
Landowner was previously.
I think the bidding started at 275.
Yeah, I think they had previously been getting
Rio.
Here.
I think they've been getting 300.
Yeah, right at 300. This ended up at 430, and it's interesting. We are very, very cognitive about leaving the decision making up to the landowner specifically, or the broker and the landowner combined. On the awarded tenant, this one, there were the top two bidders. We know very well. They've been very active with our platform.
Great
And
producers,
so
great growers.
I got phone calls immediately after this ended, like, "Hey, who's going to get it?" I told them, "Listen, I don't know. Like the top two, I can tell you for a fact, and actually even the top three are very, very good operators.
Qualified.
They're highly qualified. They are stewards of the ground. All the above. There's no bad option out of them. There were 8 unique bidders on this track. High bid was 430. We had a 425. 430 was high. 425 followed right behind that, and then a 410. And then we got down to 400.
So based off of that, you've got bidder number 4663, 3329, and 584, and naturally you've got
47.45 at 400.
You got 5 horses in the race at 400 plus that are increasing that landowner's ROI by 30% to go from 300 to 400.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, and the high bid didn't win. They took. That's my understanding. Correct?
I don't know. I'm not sure who got it. I don't know who got it yet.
Okay.
I'm sure the decision has been made. I just have not been directly connected.
But anyways, at 125, 130 bucks upside on 300,
mm-hmm.
we're right there in our wheelhouse, and we joke about this all the time. It works every time, like it's almost the exact same. Like 100% of the time, it works 100% of the time. It's not like the old Anchorman, 60% of the time it works 100% of the time. It's like 100% of the time.
The numbers are very consistent.
It's 35 to 40% increase.
And we continue to grow our user base on the tenant operator side.
Well, we used to get excited when we'd be like, "Oh, it's bidder number 275. We've got 275 farmers in our database that are bidding on ground."
Mm-hmm.
Now we take it for granted, but there was bidder 4455 or whatever.
Yeah.
Now we're approaching 5,000 farmers that are bidding on farm ground for lease nonstop
throughout the Midwest.
So, and we're getting great results. Awesome to see. Happy landowners. Happy brokers, Don Wagner.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's doing backflips. He's doing auctions through the site for sale. He's doing agricultural leases. Andrew Epperson continues to just hammer down on hunting leases in Indiana.
Yep.
And we're in a very good spot right now. Really excited. And we got a couple of hammered listings that just came up. What is that? Adams, Brown, Schuyler, whereabouts?
We got the really nice one. This, and I think we talked about this tract before, but this is a 218-acre tillable tract in Schuyler.
You and I went and looked at this.
Yeah, it's a beautiful farm.
It's really cool.
It's a unique farm. And so we still have, we've got 19 days of bidding left on this. Current bid is 345 unique bidders. And I expect that this will hit somewhere in that 400 plus range. Conservatively, that's what the farm's worth. This is a 3-year lease. And the neat thing about this is the owner of this farm has a substantial portfolio in this region. He's really taken to our system, really appreciates the value that it adds to him. The decision making is still 100% in his hands.
Yeah.
But he just loves the ability to understand what the market's willing to bear, instead of only talking to the 1 or 2 operators in that area that he knows.
He's a business guy.
Yep.
And he knows he needs to be pragmatic. But what he loves is, I don't have to pick the high bidder.
No.
Because at the end of the day, that might not be my guy.
Well, the neat thing about this farm, or with a landowner like this, and it's in the description, that there's going to be more inventory available from the same landowner. And so you can, like, obviously
this is getting your foot in the door with a big landowner.
Yeah, to open up the door to a lot more opportunities in that region. If that's where you want to, set your flag, that's great, because, you can be probably a little bit more aggressive, knowing that, hey, if I am the awarded tenant on this tract, there's going to be more opportunities. This isn't a one-off or a 218-acre tract.
When we looked at this, it was baffling to both you and I that there was actually, you probably can't zoom in close enough, but there's actually a county road that goes through the middle of the field.
You can kind of see it in this.
It's incredible. And it's in the middle of nowhere, but it's actually a road.
Maintained road.
By the county. And how easy is that to get trucks in and out of?
Oh, it's great.
For hauling.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, aside from it being great soil and the levee around this thing, I was most impressed with the pump house.
Yeah, the pump house is really neat.
Because it
sits down there along the river, but it's
maintained. This is a turnkey farm to where that pump house is going to say, nope, we're not letting this flood.
135 PI farm.
Correct.
Too.
Yeah. No,
you saw the corn. We were there.
Yeah, that's you holding it.
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
And that was just a random.
I thought I lost you.
I didn't. I only went like 4 rows deep.
That's
probably not a fair sample size.
Probably not.
Yeah. But maybe I went in there a little further than that. It was probably more than 4 rows.
Yeah, probably.
I could have got lost out there. It's a big field. It's just a big flat.
It was
awesome field of corn. Definitely, if you're in the market in that Schuyler, Adams, Brown, I would highly encourage you to take a look at this farm, knowing that there's going to be more. There's another one by the same landowner in Hancock County. 70
some acres, right?
Yeah. Yep. 72. Let's see here. For lease, property type.
Yeah, that was
down here.
That was Hancock County, and he's got more coming up.
He's got more coming up.
He just bought what, 200, 300, 400 acres?
Yeah, he just bought a nice tract that's very close to his kind of home tract there. But this is 76 tillable acres, 112 PI. So a little bit different style farm, but still productive, 3-year lease. Same deal. You get in with this landowner, open up more opportunities for yourself down the road. So pretty neat stuff going on there.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, and we've got more coming too. You know, there's still going to be substantial.
I think we got 700 acres in Iowa coming after October 1st.
Yep.
Through a farm management company.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Which is
farm manager. Yeah.
Through a farm manager. Yeah.
The landowner basically forced his hand and said, I know you're managing my farms, but I want 700 acres to get run through this site to see what the market brings.
Correct. Yep. And, there's like switching over to the farm management side of the business that, obviously we want to work closely. I've received a couple phone calls here in the last 2 weeks or so that were basically like, Brad, man, you're kind of like leaning hard.
I didn't think you were leaning hard, but you're honest and you're just asking tough questions like, why wouldn't a farm management company want to use this software? Like, why are farm managers against transparency? Why should the landowner not see 12 people actively bidding? I mean, you're just asking honest questions.
And I would like to speak with more farm managers than what I speak with already.
There's probably not as many that would like to speak with you.
Yeah, but I just would like to learn because I'm a huge proponent. And I've shipped a couple different farms this year to farm managers because I feel like that is in the best interest of that landowner. The farm managers have functions well beyond what just connecting to a specific tenant, well beyond. They serve a very, very strong purpose in the marketplace in order to make sure that soil sustainability is high.
But they're advising the landowner on, hey, maybe now's the right time to reinvest with your tenant on some tile. Like they're running the full gamut. They are managing the ground, which is you like we've said, you've got bad eggs everywhere, and there's great farm managers, there's poor farm managers, just in like any other profession. Mm-hmm. But the farm management serves a role. It's been around for a long time.
Yep.
So it can't be all that bad. All we're trying to say is we've got new technology, new tools, new software that can up your game.
Well, and we're beginning to get more and more traction with these farm management companies that are starting to understand and see that, like,
At first, they viewed
CommonGround
us as competition. Like,
Common
we're
Ground
going to be a
is-
digital farm manager. No,
we're
not.
that has never been our goal
No.
in any way, shape, or form. It's outside of our scope. We serve one of these small portions of a farm manager's responsibilities, which would be connecting the landowner's property with the best tenant operator in that
Correct.
area. All we do is offer them the tool set to show their landowner the transparent sort of side of, hey, I didn't just pick one of the two guys that I typically work with or one of the three guys I typically work with. I opened it up to everybody. And now we have 8, 10, 12 different qualified operators who are interested in your farm. Now, I'm going to dig in a little bit. I'm going to do my research on these individuals who were bidders. So that's just step one. But outside of that, I would highly encourage any landowner, especially if you're removed, if you're not really comfortable understanding, what goes into making a farm operate year in, year out. I'm all for the farm managers that I will continue to send, people who come through our platform. 100%. I'm going to continue to send them to farm management companies.
They serve a role. You might have one landowner that owns 180-acre tract that he inherited.
Yep.
Does he need a farm manager? Probably not.
But maybe. They still are going to.
Probably not, though. In most cases, you got a landowner that owns 6 tracts that make up 1,200 acres.
Sure.
Might be in their best interest to have a farm manager.
I would highly encourage them to have a farm manager. But
you're managing an asset at that point.
And as we continue to see growth in our business through the farm managers, and I'm guessing some of these guys, even that we are working with now, we're starting to get some traction with these guys to understand that we're not a threat. We want to offer these tools. And I'm guessing that maybe they're quiet about it, that this isn't necessarily out there, that they're not broadcasting.
But you go back how many years ago when E-Trade and Scottrade and all these individual investing platforms came out. The traditional brokerage houses, the Schwabs and, TD Ameritrades and Edward Jones. They're just like, whoa, like, what do you mean these people can invest on their own? They need a qualified fiduciary to manage their money. But E-Trade, Scottrade, Interactive Brokers, all these new technologies served a segment of the population that said, I'm going to do what I want.
And educate myself.
Yeah, maybe I like trading stocks. Sure. Maybe I like handling my own money. Is it 100% of the population? No. But everybody was fearful at first to say, oh, there's this new technology out there that allows people to invest their own money. What's that going to do to our business? I don't know. But it serves a certain segment of the population.
Sure. But it's a huge marketplace,
Absolutely.
And I think having qualified individuals, whether you're trading stocks or whether you're managing farm ground, you are much better served to have people in the space who truly understand that demographic of what we're working with. And so as we continue to add more farm managers to the platform, people
meeting with some big ones next week.
Yeah.
Who, they were tough ones at first, but they're coming around to the idea and they're saying, hey, this is here. It's here to stay. People are hearing about it. You guys are growing. Nobody wants to be the first on the bus. Nobody wants to be the last on the bus. But the dominoes are starting to fall where some of these smaller farm managers are adopting it and using it. And now we're getting calls from bigger farm managers that are saying, okay, this might be a good tool for my toolkit.
And I want to continue to educate myself, educate our company in, the functions and the value that these farm managers actually.
Why don't we do an active ask right now during this podcast to say, if you are a farm manager,
or if your ground's even being managed by farm managers, the last thing I'm going to do is try to steal that business.
No,
That's not what
I was going down the road of, if you're a farm manager, get a hold of us and come on the podcast.
Call me. I mean, 309-231-1449 is my cell number. I just want to talk. I want to learn more.
Come on the podcast, tell us everything you do, why you do it, why you're passionate about managing CommonGround. We'll plug you, we'll plug your company, and convince us and everybody listening that this is the best route to go in this case. And in some cases, it's not the best route to go.
Mm-hmm.
And plead the case of, this is why farm management is good. In these cases, you might not need a farm manager, and something like this might better suit you.
Or why our system doesn't work for their farm management company at all.
Yeah.
We've
got an open invite. We've got an open invite.
I love it.
Out there to any farm manager. Now, I don't want some 21-year-old new kid who's been doing it 4 months. I'm
not opposed to that even. I would like to.
You don't care any farm manager, or you want a seasoned guy.
I would love seasoned guys to just explain to me why the ability to here, and we let me pull this up. We put this together. This is just an overview of why land managers / farm managers are starting to become more apt to understanding that we're not a threat. This is not our business model.
We had one of the largest farm management companies utilize us for a hunting lease. And they said, if you can get us, this is a huge pain in our ass.
On the hunting
lease side. But we think we can generate some revenue. It's a huge pain for us. If you get us $1,000, buy a steak dinner.
Mm-hmm. And that was a very, very reputable farm management company on Island. It's the People's Company. I mean, they're one of the biggest, most reputable, wonderful, good companies.
We wound up getting...
It was 7,000.
7,000?
Yeah.
And I think they were currently getting 500 on the hunting lease.
Yeah.
And it was a pain for them to manage.
But it's a neat aspect that, for these farm managers, a lot of these farms have some timber on them, anywhere in the Midwest. There's going to be hunting opportunities, and some of these landowners very well may have no interest in hunting. They're leasing they've got a 200-acre tract. It's got 50 acres of timber on it. Well, I let the neighbor hunt it, or I let the current farmer hunt it for free. I let this sort of stuff. Well, we've established that there's a huge marketplace for that, and so the farm manager now have the ability to, if you don't want to lease out the tillable ground through our system, fine. That's between you and your landowner.
Keep it closed door.
But if you can open up that ability to gain additional ROI from these hunting leases on that same property that's realistically generating little to no income right now, what's just another big win for that farm manager as well as the landowner.
Absolutely.
And so
But that's what's exciting for me, to see a company as big and as forward-thinking and as reputable as the People's Company using our software.
And they had great results, and the landowner was thrilled. The farm manager was thrilled. He still owes a steak dinner. I think so. Yeah. It's fine. I'll hit him up here at some point. But it went as smooth as could be. They were thrilled, and that landowner generated an extra $7,000 a year off of ground that was unproductive in most people's mind for farming practices. But why leave that on the table? I guess is all I'm saying. This opens up all sorts of different opportunities beyond just the tillable leasing of ground. There's a lot more to this. This big puzzle. So.
But we've got a lot of reasons,
Yeah, and if I go down the simple little list of bullet points here, provide competitive leasing environment. So it's still 100% up to the farm manager who's representing that landowner to be able to say, hey, okay, I put this out not to just my group, but to everybody in the area regionally. Yes. And so I do have to do a little bit more work potentially on the back end just to make sure that I get this property with it's just your job.
That's your job.
Correct. Yes,
Like
and they should be representing the landowner.
It's easy as a farm manager to say, I got a farm in this area. I got 3 guys I know and trust.
Yeah.
Hey, will you pay this price? Yeah. Okay. Good.
But when the going rates on tillable ground that we've seen,
that's what they think the going rate is.
We see 30% higher with very, very reputable, high quality tenants that.
But do you think maybe they're nervous that it's going to open up Pandora's box? Because if they've got all these farms under management, and let's just say they've got 100,000 acres under management, and the going rate is $350, and then all of a sudden one farm manager says, well, I'm going to put it out on the open marketplace, and it gets $450, and then that word starts to get out, do you think they're fearful of Pandora's box, of raising all these rental rates?
Possibly, but I believe that these farm managers who are, especially the smaller guys who, would love.
But the farm manager works for the landowner.
The farm manager works for the landowner.
So I'm confused. If the farm manager is getting paid by the landowner as a fiduciary.
Well, these are questions that you shouldn't be asking me. These are questions that I would like to discuss.
I'm begging a seasoned farm manager to come on this podcast and have a sit-down conversation of why an open, competitive, transparent bid marketplace such as ours does not make the most sense for a landowner. I would love it. And we've had this up on the screen for a while.
But this gives every producer in the area, every tenant in the area an opportunity.
That's what I'm saying.
In turn, and one of the smaller farm management companies who has utilized the system, they said that they are not only growing their database of qualified operators, because all of a sudden, I had 12 bidders on this last farm. Well, I didn't know 6 of them, is what this guy said.
But it works the same. It's what we call the flywheel and network effect all the time. Yep. It's no different than an Andrew Epperson, who's a new land broker. Well, this was 2 years ago. He was a new land broker. Now he's killing it. He started doing hunting leases.
Yeah.
Well, he's getting inbound calls for hunting leases, and he's figuring out, oh my gosh, not only are these guys wanting to lease ground for hunting in Indiana, they're potential buyers that when I get a listing, I can just call them and they'll buy it.
He's had multiple sales transactions.
It works the same way in the farm management business.
You're growing your database of qualified operators that you maybe would not have had an opportunity to have any sort of an introduction previously to.
Correct.
You are able now to show these landowners, hey, listen, I am driving higher rates because I'm really, really getting down in the weeds and I'm working this hard for my landowner who is ultimately, who's paying me. He's my client, he or she, my client, and I'm doing the best possible job I can for them.
Here's what I did for you.
What's this? What is this?
These are all bids, Mr. and Mrs. Landowner.
Yeah. And some landowners are maybe want to be involved, and you can say, hey, landowner Chris, I would like to, hey, all the bids are done, we did really well, I would like to, would you have an opportunity to jump on a Zoom call with me, or let me meet you at your house? I would like to sit with you and your wife or your family and let's go through these, and I'm going to offer my expertise. This is the space that I'm in, this is the value I add, here's why I believe that out of all the bidders, this would be the best out of the group.
Yeah.
And then merge your manager's expertise with an open competitive marketplace, just like we've talked, and allow managers to select still the most qualified tenant, regardless of the final bid. So it should be a win-win-win across the board. And like I said, if some of these farm management companies are opposed to us, feel threatened still, I understand, but that's not where we're truly at. No. And this is being inherited. It is starting to get some traction in that space.
And we're starting to get involved on the governmental level as well, where counties are saying, well, we own 600 acres. We owe it to our taxing body that we should be getting the most out of this ground that this community and this county owns.
Absolutely.
So instead of doing the old sealed bid and getting 4 packets and snail mail and putting it out for bid in the paper, counties, government agencies, townships are starting to reach out saying, you can streamline this for us. And we just give you parcel IDs and you put it up and we get a list of high bidders. Mm-hmm. Wow, and it's transparent. So if the taxpayer wants to be like, well, why did this guy get it? Well, here's the results. Like it just streamlines everything. And
even for these municipalities and stuff that we're beginning the process with, like same deal. I would highly encourage them. Here's a list of qualified farm management companies that we've had success with, we've worked with, we've had good results with in your region there. Here's four company names, contacts. Talk to them because they're going to help you well beyond the process that we were able to help you with. They're going to help with the sustainability. They're going to help look at the inputs. They're going to help make sure you get the yield data correctly. There's a lot to it that those guys can do beyond what we're doing here. And so I am going to strongly encourage to a lot of these groups that they should have discussions with the farm management company to see if it's a good fit for them. So end of story, I guess. Hopefully we are able to have a farm manager or multiple, as many, hopefully they're lined up out the door just to kick me in the, you know what, there
might be a line after this podcast, but I think now that this is what you said, number 7th, we know when this camera goes out, we've hit our mark.
Yeah,
we've filled our time. Yeah. People out there are probably sick of listening to us at this point.
Yeah.
But great episode. Covered a lot of ground.
Yep.
Covered a lot of common ground, which I like.
I like it.
It's my pun, you know me.
Yeah.
But I think it's time. I think we thank all of people that don't sponsor us because we still have no sponsors. But big shout out to LG TVs, Pollywood Tables, Red Solo Cup, in Copenhagen. So
thank you.
Thanks everyone. Appreciate everything. Go out, join the Common Ground community, like us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, go to YouTube, like the channel, and we'll keep cranking out crazy good content and do our best for you.
Safe harvest to everybody out there farming. Hope everything goes as well as possible. God bless and everybody, good luck.
Take care. Thanks. Everybody.
Bye.
Girl that can